Großer.
Oh, schön, dich zu sehen.
Ja, ich vertrete dich auch innerlich ganz arg. Ich habe noch ein Getränk dabei nachher.
Vielen Dank. Mein Gastmutter.
Ah, toll.
Ich habe ein Gestiegen
Ist
bekommen.
Doris da? Nee.
Nee, sie ist
Nee, sie sind doch weg. Aber Sie haben gesagt...
Oh, ups, sorry.
Sie haben gesagt, Sie machen noch ein Gartenfest.
Ja, also ich habe es gar nicht gemacht.
Do not start the closing ceremony until I instruct you to do so. We will have only notices to the candidates displayed in the school. Does anyone have any unauthorized parents in his or her possession? Please listen to all speeches carefully and laugh at our lame jokes.
Got it. Exams are done.
We're done?
We're done.
Well, in that case...
Ladies and gentlemen, parents, host families, beloved staff, board members, hey first years, soon-to-be graduates, welcome to the first UWC Robert Bosch College graduation ceremony.
And this is Bobo, and it is an honor for us to be here to host you for this very special event.
Today, I think we can all agree, is a day of celebration. It is a day of last-minute hugs. It is a day of tears and joy, of sadness. And it is a day where we can look back at the past, but also glance at the future.
Throughout this ceremony, we will hear some touching speeches, a few musical interludes, and we will witness every single student step up to receive their certificate. And on top of it all, an attempt by Bobo and I to entertain you along the way with just a few skits and other words about life at UWC.
In order to make certain that everything is going to run smoothly, would you please kindly turn your phones off just so we don't have any interruptions. And without further ado, we would like to invite the string ensemble to give the first performance of today.
thank you to the string ensemble for setting the tone. Next up is our first speech, and it is a speech by a very special man, a man of which, without, I'm not sure if I would be standing here today alongside with all of you. For it was his idea and determination to found a college, a UWC, here in Germany, and I think I can speak on behalf of more than just myself when I say that we are eternally grateful for all he has done and for his continuing support.
Thank you. Dear families, host families and guests, welcome and thank you for all your support for this endeavor here. Dear members of staff, thank you for all you have done in those 2 years, those 2 first years. Dear first years, thank you for being here. And most importantly today, of course, dear very first Robert Bosch College graduates to be, I congratulate you. What a day. I think the music showed it beautifully. It's a mixture of happiness and of sadness. It's not about perfection, but about daring and doing something which hasn't been done before. It is also a sad day. You're going to part from your friends and you will leave our college, which has been your home for 2 very special years. I guess it's hard to tell if this year has been if those 2 years have been long or short. They may seem short when you sense how fast time has passed. And they may also seem very long when you consider what has happened in those 2 years. Over this time, this college has become your college. You, as the first generation, have made it a living reality. Thank you for being here. I don't know if you remember at our inauguration, nearly 2 years ago, I spoke about the importance of asking open questions. Now you went through your IB exams and you had to answer questions of a very different kind. Closed questions requiring predefined answers. I guess that's unavoidable if it's about examinations, and I'm quite confident you made the best of it. And I really wish you great results. But this college is not primarily about good grades. It's not about the accumulation of knowledge. It's about discovery and it's about development. Of course, everybody of us needs to learn facts, laws and rules and how to apply them. But by their definition, facts, laws and rules have been made in the past. Factum, fact, is Latin past participle. It's just what has been done. And of course the past is important. And it's the past. Present is open and to most part unknown, and future even more so. Understanding how things have developed up to now helps us to sort out what needs to be done and gives us a sense how the consequences of our actions may be. But we actually never know beforehand how things will unfold. It's about 90 years ago that Werner Heisenberg discovered the uncertainty principle of quantum mechanics. Those of you who studied physics have heard about it. But I don't ask you to give the formula. It's about something else. It's about what it is saying. It basically says that we never ever know reality fully. Whatever we understand about reality changes reality. This is even true in physics, the most basic and most solid of all sciences. At least you can argue so. Let's say about natural sciences. But it's even more strikingly true when our personal consciousness and our personal actions become part of the picture. And for us, of course, they always are. In your 2 years here in Freiburg, you have learned how to deal with uncertainty in personal life and in your studies. It was a big part of the learning here, I'm sure. And you have realized that you can find out much if you apply yourselves fully. I guess much more than you have believed before. But also that we never understand everything, and whatever we find out opens new and most often deeper questions. So, how to act wisely when we know that we don't know? This, as those of you who have studied philosophy probably know, was the guiding question of Socrates, the great educator and philosopher at the beginning of Western thought, less than 2.5 millennia ago. And I think this question or statement, it's both, is still valid. How to live and engage in a planetary civilization which is developing right now, that is most likely going to grow to 10 billion people in your lifetime. How to unite worldwide for peace, freedom, justice and sustainability, which we can only achieve, if at all, in global cooperation, working together. How, at the same time, can we celebrate diversity between cultures and inside of our culture societies? How to be at the same time united and diverse? And in a very specific way right now, how can we navigate the digital age which is dawning right now, so that it will become a part of the solution and not just a new dependency? I don't know the answers to those questions, only small pieces of them. And I believe nobody can know them. Nobody can know them in advance, because it's the creative process of our lives that shapes those answers. The answers don't exist prefabricated. They are not in our mind, and we can't Google them on the internet. The response we give is the life we live, and this unfolds. This has been true for every generation. That's not new. But now it's your turn. And I wish you luck and much joy in your very personal journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bosch. That was very inspirational. And when I like to get inspired, I usually try to reflect back on how it was in August 2014. I like to think about how we met at the airport. I like to think about the awkward meetings. I like to think about the fears and the dreams and the thoughts and the feelings that I had. And I like to think about so many things. I question myself, will I fit in? I question myself, will I be able to contribute to this community? Oh, I had so much fun in those days. What? I'm not doing a speech. Helen! Okay then, since I am not doing a speech, we will have to move on to the next speaker, which is our very own rector. You see, Lawrence is a very calm guy. He talks slowly. He doesn't really want to create any type of conflict. When some kind of a difficult situation arises, Lawrence is usually known for saying, "And this too shall pass." And Lawrence is the type of guy that when he is faced with a difficult situation, he tries to be polite, to get out of it without harming anybody's feelings or without making anyone feel bad. And we think we have a picture that beautifully describes this type of scenario. So Simone, can you...
This is when Lawrence and a group of others were here before the school was set up during the construction site, and as you can see, he is sitting on what was then a pink floor for the Mensa. And it is probably one of those times that Lawrence's politeness in his manner, he was sitting there, and of course it's not very fond of this sort of horrific floor, saying, is there a possible alternative? And at that time, we have red floors now. So, jokes aside, we'll let the floor be Lawrence's. Now, do bear in mind though, he does speak a bit slow, so half an hour.
I probably will read this because, like many of our students, I'm getting emotional already. But thank you, Gaza, thank you, Bobo. Honored guests, parents and host parents and family and friends, also family and friends who are watching on the live stream in many, many different parts of the world. We wish we were all together, but we also understand that that can't be. But thank you for watching and being with us in that way. If I could also greet my colleagues and our dear students, both here, our graduating class, and then those downstairs in the Mensa, can you hear them, watching on the live stream. As we've heard, and as we know, this closing ceremony, or this graduation ceremony, everything at Robert Bosch College is up for debate, and we couldn't quite understand what to call this, whether it was a graduation, or a closing ceremony, or a leaving ceremony, and we come from far too many different places to ever agree on anything as simple as that. But it does, what we do agree is that it does represent the end of the first cycle. And as it is the end of the first cycle, I would like to spend a little bit of time just acknowledging some of the people who really were responsible for putting this college in its, to create it and to have it in this place. And we have already heard of that role that Dr. Christoph Bosch played, and the person most responsible for the Robert Bosch Stiftung agreeing and wishing to create a United World College here in memory of Christoph's grandfather. And so, like our MCs, Christoph, I want to pay tribute to you for that initiative and for your continued wisdom and deep commitment as chair of our governing of our board. In another part of the world, it's called a governing council. Always have to get my language right. But Christoph, thank you so much for the role that you have played and that you continue. Then I want to mention Jens Woltermann, also sitting in the front, who at the time that this dream of 30 years to form a United World College in Germany, at the time that this real opportunity came, it was Jens who was chairman of Deutsche Stiftung UWC. and represented Deutsche Stiftung in the shareholding and on the board. And Jens worked tirelessly, and I am quite sure detrimentally to his day job with Solon Consulting, to bring together ideas and to make this college a reality. For the last 8 months, I imagine, Jens has been the executive director of UWC International, so we have our own very person sitting, representing us in the London office and making sure that the ideas that come through Robert Bosch College also get into the UWC movement. Jens, we're delighted that you have been able to come back and to celebrate with us this completion of the cycle. This, Another person sitting here will remember that in 2010, UWC passed its first strategic plan. Interesting that an organization had been around for almost 50 years and got its first strategic plan in 2010. And so you can imagine that a lot of thought and effort went into that. And one of the things in that strategic plan was that it was agreed that there would be no further colleges in Europe. A month or so later, UWC Robert Bosch College thought, we have a possibility here. And I won't speak long about him, but Professor Derek Blackman, who is a long supporter of UWC and was vice chair of UWC International, had the delicate task of trying to persuade the International Board to start reading about the proposal, even though we couldn't ever have a college again in Europe, and slowly but surely managed to persuade them that the concept was exciting and that it was worth scrapping a strategic plan over. So Derek, I'm delighted that you're... There are some people who couldn't be here, who were really part of those early foundations and making sure the place was in place, the buildings, the site, all the rest, the permissions, apart from a few minor ones that the students know about, the funding critically, and so on and so forth. But it's really important to remember today Professor Ludwig George Brown, Dr. Ingrid Hamm, who was then CEO of the Robert Bosch Stiftung, somebody that the students have met many times, Dr. Christian Hodeiger, who can't be here today as well, and then Dr. Kurt Liedtke. So I would like very much to acknowledge their continuing contribution, as well as all that they did to make this college a reality. Let's thank them. You've already heard that Jens Woltmann left Deutsche Stiftung to become executive director of UWC International. Dr. Hamm left as CEO of the Robert Bosch Stiftung. And this project isn't complete. A school is never complete. I also want to acknowledge and thank the people who have taken on. The baton has been handed to them. Present with us is Franz Decker, the new chairman of Deutsche Stiftung UWC, and also Frau Ute Michaela Dürig, who's the new CEO of Deutsche Stiftung. She isn't able to be here today, but she sends her very best wishes to all of us. So let's thank them. And maybe the last person that I need to just give acknowledgement to is I am the founding head, or Rector, in German it makes me feel very, very important, but I am the founding head, but I wasn't the founding Geschäftsführer, and that was Eva Eschenbruch, who really helped lay the foundations that I was able to take over in that institutional sense when I joined in 2012, at the end of 2012. Again, Eva is not able to be here. She currently is the head of the executive part of Deutsche Stiftung UWC, But she also, I know she's written to the German students, and she has wished also all of us the best wishes. So thank you. Now to the students, to the departing or the graduating students. We came together as a community not even 2 years ago. We came into a place that, however we wished to build it, was a building site. And some of the parents who arrived with their young children to hand over, thank you for being brave and leaving them with us. It wasn't quite complete. We weren't quite ready in that physical sense. But where we were ready was in our hearts and in our minds. We were ready to commit ourselves to building a community of people. We were ready to commit ourselves, both individually and as that community, to living and trying to take forward our understanding of the UWC mission and to creating that engaged and committed community. And that was most important. And the buildings caught up, and the Mensa caught up, and all sorts of things caught up, and we can just see such a change in that physical sense from when we arrived to now. But we see the most important change in those awkward early greetings have become a really, really tight-knit group of people, and I want to commend you for that. Looking back on those almost 2 years, and for many of us in a state of almost complete exhaustion, we know how close we have grown, and for many of us, how hard it will be to say goodbye in the next 24 hours. Yeah, we know that. We have experienced joy and laughter and friendship. We have experienced incredible stimulation and challenge. We have experienced stress and fatigue, and for many of us, depression. And what I want to say is these are all authentic parts of the UWC experience. When you go, it's not that one was the right experience and the other was the wrong experience. These are all authentic parts of your UWC journey over these last 2 years. I expect most of us will realize how much we have developed. It's quite hard to see in situ, but if we have the privilege now of going home and reconnecting with our old friends and our family, that is when most of us feel that we recognize how much we have grown during these last 2 years. Now that we're reaching closure, I thought it might be helpful for me to try and articulate 2 years later and many years later as ahead that I'd moved from Africa to a very new set of circumstances and to a very new style for me of a UWC. What do I still believe in and what do I now believe in as rector of this college, and why do I remain still very keen and excited to be a rector of a UWC with its many opportunities, but also many challenges. And so I would start, like our late honorary President Nelson Mandela, I do believe that education is the most powerful weapon we have to change the world. It is a slow process. Often it's a process one person at a time, or maybe 103 people, as we are graduating today, 103 people at a time. But I still believe it is the most powerful process that I know for me and for us to change the world. Education. Increasingly, I believe in growing student responsibility and growing student autonomy and giving people the right and the opportunity for personal sense-making. In my view, this is one way that one finds protection against indoctrination, And I understand that, and I've had to grow to understand in this environment, that one is always trying to achieve these things within a context in a society. And societies have their rules and regulations as well. And somehow, the IB has its rules and regulations, and somehow we have to still carve out as much as possible in an appropriate way, in a particular context, that notion of your student responsibility, your autonomy, your personal sense-making. I believe that more fundamentally now, even though we have to navigate in a difficult context sometimes, I believe that more fundamentally than I had ever believed it before. I believe in tolerance, and that tolerance is enhanced through personal relationships across divides. I believe that our experience of our humanity is enhanced, not diminished, by our diversity. I also believe that tolerance should not replace, and must not replace, the quest for social justice and the quest for a sustainable future for this planet. Finally, I believe in building a coalition of people willing to remain in dialogue, even if we deeply, deeply disagree. A coalition of people willing to share in increasing proximity this very finite planet that we have, as a necessary counter to the forces of intolerance and extremism. And I think that is what we do here. I see all of this and more in you, the first generation, both as individuals and as a community. You bear testimony to the power of education. You have embraced responsibility, autonomy, and personal sense-making, at least most of the time, and in some houses, particularly when it hasn't come to cleaning. Yes. You have grown in your appreciation of complexity, that there aren't very easy and simple answers to most things, and that often a one-size-fits-all type of approach is not the best approach. But you have kept your commitment to those things that you hold important, and in many ways, and for many of you, you have been a beacon and quite a sharp reminder to me in many areas, and you know that. Time and time again, you have shown tolerance, not a lazy tolerance, but coupled with passion for social justice and for a sustainable future. You have moved beyond tolerance to empathy, to solidarity, to action, and to love. And you are part of that coalition of people who are determined not to allow intolerance and extremism overtake us. So thank you for what you represent to me, to us, both now and in the future, and I rejoice in being able to call you, from now, graduates of UWC Robert Bosch College. Congratulations.
Thank you, Lawrence. Those words really struck a chord. Speaking of striking some chords, our next performers, oh man, I've always wanted to sit here at a drum, and can anybody take a picture? So our next performers are the backstagers, which are the school band. We've seen them perform on a couple of occasions, such as the Winter Ball or the Winter Ball. So please welcome the backstagers.
holding on. We knew this day would come, we knew it all along. How did it come so fast? This is our last night, but it's late, and I'm trying not to sleep, 'cause I know when I wake, I will have to slip away. Daylight comes, I have to go, but tonight I'm gonna hold you so close. When the daylight will be on our own, but tonight I'm gonna hold you so close. Ooh, oh, ooh, oh, ooh, oh, ooh, oh, here I am standing at graduation, trying hard not to cry. The sky's getting bright, the stars are burning out. Somebody slow it down, this is way too hard. 'Cause I know when the sun comes up, I will leave. This is my last glance that will soon be memory. Then the daylight comes, I'll have to go, but tonight I'm gonna hold you so close. The daylight will be on our own, but tonight I'm gonna hold you so close. Ooh, oh, ooh, oh, ooh, oh, ooh, oh, I never wanted to stop because I don't want to start all over, start all over. I was afraid of the dark, but now it's all that I want, all that I want, all that I want. When the daylight comes, I'll have to go, but tonight I'm gonna hold you so close. When the daylight will be on our own, but tonight I'm gonna hold you so close. Ooh, oh, ooh, oh, ooh, oh, ooh, oh, ooh, oh. Night comes, I'll have to go, but tonight I'm gonna hold you so close. A day from now, will all be gone, our friends will move away.
And they're going to better places, but our friends will be gone away. Nothing is as it has been, and I'll miss your face like hell.
And I guess it's just
students to the backstagers for their performance.
You see, living on a campus with 200 people means you don't get a lot of private space. Now, everybody sees everything, everybody hears everything, but not everybody knows everything. But this time, everything is now over. The time, the moment we have been waiting for has come.
But it's not me coming out of the closet. We're ready for the award ceremony, and would like to invite Christian, Lawrence, and Helen to lead the show.
And the next tutor group is Christians. Leah. Luigi.
To join us on stage. Emma. Jared. Debbie to join us on stage. Chili. And Daniel. And Wilson.
I'd like to call Emmett's tutor group up. Tillman. Victor. And Victoria.
Sophie. Tony. Wasser. Can you please join us on stage? I would like to call on Claire.
Ingrid to the stage, please. Shaq. Graham. Chelsea. Andres. And I'd like to call Lydia onto the stage. Kalau. UWC. Berlin. Shimal.
Here, please join us on stage. We would like to congratulate Elias. Michaela. Ming. Tessa. Lennart. And we would like to congratulate Fatma. Marie.
ever. Leon. Melis. Yusra. And a Richard student group. Augustine. Thea. Margarita. Phyllis. Stefan.
Sarah, please join us. We would like to congratulate Anna.
Luca.
And the last tutor group to join us is Toby's. Alex. Lotta. Conrad. Louisa. Gracie. Vincent. Ignacio. Excuse me. I'll hand over to the MCs.
Go ahead. I want to spend just a few moments to sort of take another little aspect, and I'll take us back in time. So before many of us came here, I'm sure that many got sort of a heads-up warning for the culture shocks, the cultural revelations, understandings that we would encounter here. And this is a small, from my side, this is a small tribute to Jay, my roommate. And I'm just going to exemplify something which I hope many of you relate to after being here. I hope this sort of inspires your thoughts. And when we're going back, that you can keep in mind the big moments of this experience. So the story goes like this. Jay comes from Nepal, and he was not very familiar with, in this case, Western dance or Western music. And then on the parties that we've had, which have been on this stage actually, he was at first very reluctant and was a bit afraid of coming to the stage and like dancing with everyone. And as you all know, that Latinos, they often dance with their hips, right? Latinos are very good with their hips. I'm not too good, but in Norway, we like the air time, so we jump, right? And then, since Jay was a bit reluctant, well, as a roommate, I felt responsible for telling him any moves, right? So I showed him mine, which was the jumping moves. But then, on this, I can't remember which party, but it was this one party, there was, of course, a range of songs, and that particular song was probably one of those bass-heavy, a bit like everyone was feeling in the zone, going down there, right? But Jay, who couldn't differentiate between the different songs and didn't know them that well, you could see the whole floor. Everyone on the floor was like pretty much down here, except this one guy who was really just living in the moment and just like this. So at the end of it all, take a moment and look to your neighbors and take back home all those culture shocks or understandings, the revelations, and the nice moment. And remind yourself of what this journey has been all about. It's been a long ceremony.
Now, it's been a long ceremony so far, so if any of you need to go to the bathroom, now's the time because the first year is speaking. Please, let's give a warm welcome to Lisa from Rwanda, who will be giving a speech on behalf of the first years.
Thank you. Thanks. During the first second year show we saw, you taught us a number of lessons that would keep spinning in our minds like that poking dream you really, really liked but still can't remember. 1. Laughter and dance sessions will get you through. Thus, we learned to lead all conversations into the weirdest path and to laugh from them. You taught us to make fun of IB, math studies, and all other classes. Because laughing with you was the first step to getting to know you. You taught us to dance, be it a 3-minute dance session, or after check-in, or on spring day. You taught us to get to the proximities where we were all one, and all that mattered was the mind of the group. To accept, to open row, and that all our colors splash together, mingling with each other to create our own rainbows. 2. Learn to talk, because the year was going to be long and hard, but you can make it with a friend. So you integrated us into a community that was once only yours, and you welcomed us with open arms and loving hearts into a home so that we always knew we could talk to you. 3. Take a nap. Because you know those ungodly hours are always more productive, be it for tea and talk, for watching the next episode of Game of Thrones or Germany's Next Top Model, or because you had a fight with your roommate. You'll need that nap. 4. Tea and chocolate are our best friends. So we bought as many as possible because you know you fight a lot with these people. So have chocolate to share with a peer supporter, or just as a forgive me kind of gift. Or when you're ready to make peace, have tea, because such warmth cannot be associated with any wrath. Besides, Fatima also taught us to associate tea with a nice conversation. 5. Be fast and efficient. Most time you'll have to compress 2 homeworks and an essay in one night. So we learned to start then. We learned to approach you as soon as possible, to say no to homeworks, and spend the night talking and drinking tea, because homework at 2 a.m. is not part of the memories we'll still have when we're old and tired and our limbs are merely part of the body we feel anymore. And slowly but surely we learned to be faster because time flew past us. And today, looking back at everything, it all came slowly but steadily. The feeling that at the end, these people would come to know and love so deeply would leave soon. And it grew to vast lengths. And deep and strong into our guts and up our throats, strong enough to choke away the stress from the IB. And God knew that was hard. Shortening the days and fastening the nights, time passed onto us, and we're left with reflection sessions for the random hugs in the hallway, for the 15-minute hungry conversation in the mezzo queue, for the numerous pranks, and all the other unconventional ways we learn to say, to share, and say how much we love each other. And like a loud train, we could hear the unspoken words of, "I know I will miss you, and I know it will hurt when we part from a distance." But we still allowed ourselves to bond, to tighten the bonds, to strip bare open, to risk tangling and intertwining with each other, to form connections we knew would last a lifetime. So later on, when you have left, the tears have ceased for a while, and we have first years. When they see us missing a deadline because we're having tea, or bonding with them even though we only have 1 month left. When they see us having a laugh session or trying to pull together monthly cafes or pajama days on a Monday. When they see us sitting in the laundry room with bin bags or having an excessive use of genau. We'll remember to tell them that they're seeing a reflection of a year spent with people we learn to love deeply, wholly, and genuinely. We might not be able to preserve your legacy, but I promise it won't go down without a fight. Thank you.
Up next is a dance performance, and I won't say much more, because I don't know a lot more, but I'm sure it'll be good.
very good. I wish I could move like that.
You know, well, if there's something that I will take from UWC, it's all the, like, probably like 20 languages that I know by now.
Yeah, man, wherever I go, I can just like...
Yeah, you just enter this local community and you fit right in.
You know, I have this friend, his name is Simone. Hey, Simone. You see, Simone, he wants to be a lawyer when he grows up. And so he's been teaching me a couple of things, you know, about law and about German. And, you know, I think there is one law in German that really captures my feelings and my thoughts. Its name is Rindfleisch-Etikettierungs-Überwachungsaufgabe- und Überträgungsgesetz.
And I picked up a few lines in Arabic over the course of my stay. One of which is whenever I meet an Arab, I can, you know, get them in a good mood by saying "Akhti lak hazura, lesh ilo khad khud satlein mai fo I television. Lesh ajam tiji kanat el Bahrain."
Good one.
I too have picked up some lines from my more insightful and much better looking French counterparts. Vive le Québec libre!
My Latino friends, when it gets romantic, sometimes I find it hard to express my emotions in Arabic or English. But when it came to UWC, I found my inner Latino. Bésame, yo quiero sentir tus labios, besándome otra vez.
Let me advise you guys on this one. If you ever go to China, I know like the best pickup line. It was like this. You see someone, you go up to them, you're like, "Ni hao, is Yang Chenglong ah?" Ask somebody for your translation.
Yes. And speaking of languages, our next speech will be given by our very own English teacher.
Now you see, some people usually compare this place to Hogwarts because of its magical feel, you know? And if that is the case, then our next speaker would be Draco Malfoy. So Lydia has taught at 3 different UWCs. She writes poetry, she teaches English, does stuff, you know, and really sucks the marrow out of life. So Lydia, please join in the stage.
Okay, hello. A certain day became... Again, thank you. If only I had you in class at some point soon. Okay. A certain day became a presence to me. There it was, confronting me. A sky, air, light, a being. And before it started to descend from the height of noon, it leaned over and struck my shoulder, as if with the flat of a sword, granting me honour and a task. The day's blow rang out, metallic. Or it was I, a bell awakened. And what I heard was my whole self saying and singing what it knew. I can. When people that I meet ask me, sorry, that was Denise Levertov's poem, Variation on a Theme by Rilke. When people that I meet ask me what subject I teach, I occasionally take a shortcut and simply answer poetry. This answer took me by surprise the first few times I gave it, but I've come to understand. Poetry, after all, bears many similarities to life at UWC. As some of us may be acutely aware of today, the form is short and it's intense. Poetry, like UWC, is concerned with the deepest parts of ourselves and of human experience in all its diversity. UWC, like poetry, asks you to leave your rules behind, to enter into an unfamiliar space where the laws of grammar or of your culture are suspended, and you are invited to play, to go beyond yourself, and to get closer to what lies outside of your own experience and imagination. To encounter the new and, to quote Lawrence, to look at the world from a point of view that is not your own. There are moments of poetry every day in our community. Indeed, these seem to me to be amplified here. And remember, poetry is not always about elevated, profound experience. It's often paying attention to the little things, to the mess of daily life lived together, to rhythm, scent, our senses as vessels for memory. Consider, what sounds will you remember from your time here? The chaos of voices, plates and cutlery in the Mensa, lambs in April, now kind of sheep, the squeak of the floorboards on the library balcony, suitcases rolling up the hill at the beginning and end of term, that sound of people not clapping when you'd expect them to, instead they're shaking their hands next to their head, diggers, drills, construction work, Jack's bark, ukulele, Bobo's laugh. And what about the poetic power of symbolism? We move beyond our differences so quickly that we can forget, living here, how powerful a symbol we are to a world that is divided. There are those among you I know who will say that poetry is difficult, it's confusing, and it's so easy to misinterpret. Therein, the similarity with UWC falls again. We have all, at some point in the last 2 years, found communication difficult, conflict quick to arise, and seeing another's point of view almost impossible. And yet, every day of every week, I have witnessed students going far beyond themselves to find the words and expression to communicate what it means to be who they are, where they are from, and almost always in a language that is not their mother tongue. I am daily in awe of such a reaching out. May I give an example? Recently, our second year students had a workshop on life after UWC, given by 2 alumni, Leah Steinecker from Atlantic and Lucas Streif from Lipochung. During group work, where the students reflected on their experience and shared fears for the future, one student explained that it feels as if my heart has opened up here, that I've received all this love and I've been able to give it out so freely, and I'm worried that in the real world my heart is going to have to close a bit to protect itself. She described how her capacity to love has expanded. And it was there, in that moment, that I realised we'd arrived. That if ever there were a measure of success, then this might just be it. I, and I'm sure many of those sitting here, know exactly what she meant. I know it the moment I see friends from my time at Atlantic College, and my heart leaps with pleasure that it takes no time at all to fall in love with them all over again. I know it when I sit with my tutees, and they share the stories of their lives, their innermost fears and joys, with so little self-consciousness and such trust. And I know it when I walk into a day room at check-in to find students cooking, arguing, hugging, dancing, knitting, studying, tea drinking, and most of all, laughing together. The heart is a muscle. And as anyone who's done body combat with Marie will tell you, I'm not one, I did promise, but no. Muscles can be trained. They strengthen through exercise and rigour. Paradoxically, though, the strength of the heart lies not in toughness, but in one's capacity for love, the ability to be gentle, kind, and brave enough to be yourself. The task now, dear founding generation, is to continue to expand your capacity to love, to refuse to shut down, to stay silent, to refuse to minimise yourself, to not accept that which you know is wrong, to not close off, but instead work to joyfully hold open the space in your hearts that you have discovered here. It will lead to action. It will lead to change. Do not underestimate its revolutionary potential. There is often nothing more substantial to place against the cruelty and indifference of the world than compassion and caring. To have had this experience, you are lucky beyond measure. You are all deserving of that luck. We are immensely proud of each one of you, and we wish you well.
That was so good I can't even try to be funny right now. So that's why I would like to invite the a cappella group for 2 songs.
Here, Jerusalem. to call my name. Never known this word, but that was when I ruled the world. When you try your best but you don't succeed, when you get what you want but not what you need, when you feel so tired but you can't sleep, stuck in reverse, when tears come streaming down your face, when you lose something you can't replace, when you love someone but it goes to waste, could it be worse? Lights will guide you home and ignite your bones. I will try to fix you. High up above, down below. When you're too in love to let it go, but if you never try, you'll never know just what you're worth. Heights will guide you home and ignite your bones. I will try to fix you.
Thanks a lot, acapellas. Our next speaker comes from the land of the free, the home of the brave, and the inventor of the triple cheeseburger. Around campus, he is known for his genuine kindness, for his crowded language tutoring sessions, and for being the focus of a mysterious group called 574L.
Joining him on the stage will be another second year of whom we will remember for her contagious laughter and her loving spirit and her dance floor twerking. Winner of the FSA Given Prize, Mama Africa. Please welcome to the stage Louisa and
Thank you, Captain Bobo. On the 20th of August 2014, a supposedly summery day with the sun brightly shining, I recall vividly wrapping my red blanket around me in an effort to stay warm. At the time, I did not understand why everyone else, almost, was clad in t-shirts and shorts. Others were struggling to work out how they will carry their luggage all the way up to House 9, otherwise known as House 8. 2 years later, with pangs of nostalgia clawing at our being, we recall moments like this as we look forward to many more of the same.
We alone know where we are coming from, what circumstances we left behind, those from whom we departed. However it may have felt like to leave, going back home we are not the same. And whether we realize it or not, we have changed. We've been painfully confronted by our beliefs, our intentions, and our pasts. And the changes we have undergone as a result of this incredible experience may cause us to fear being left out. They may inspire us to reconnect with those with whom we've lost touch. They may open us up to more adventures, and they may even be unaccepted because they're not understood. We may take consolation in the fact, however, that all over the world there are those who will unconditionally love and support us.
In addition to these profound individual changes, we have also undergone a change in our worldview. We have seen the successes and failures of people from different cultures and societies working together. We have seen firsthand that people who are from societies that sometimes can be at odds can still live in peace and indeed develop very deep friendships. And that while living in a multicultural institution can be challenging at times, it is very possible. And it offers a myriad of benefits not available to a single nationality society.
However, the conviction that people from different nations and cultures can live side by side is an increasingly rare one in modern times. We have seen a rise in intolerance in many of our home countries, and many of our students are personally familiar, and in some cases victims of the dangerous consequences of prejudice, cynicism, and narrow-mindedness. But because of our experience here, we can stand up to those who say that a society can only be successful if it protects its native culture against exterior influence. We can stand up to those who claim that they're simply too different from us. Our cultures and worldviews are incompatible. And furthermore, we can stand up to those who deny the potential of international discourse, respect, and diplomacy, and the development and the formation of a just, peaceful, and united world.
Through our interactions with one another, we come to understand the UWC mission. We have all learned so much and have laid the foundation for what we hope to achieve and overcome national barriers for the greater good of all. Of course, we will not all be diplomats, heads of state, social or environmental activists, or volunteers with NGOs. And that's fine. We don't have to be. Once we comprehend this, we can truly live the mission. It is imperative that we remember that we cannot simply fix the world. As well-intentioned as we may be, let us not wear ourselves out trying to do everything that has to be done. Rather, let us do what we can and do it the best we can. Okay. Whether that be in our social interactions, academic and professional fields, or national service, we are called to be the change makers, to be witnesses to an international society that worked, to be witnesses to the possibility of cultures respecting one another, and to be witnesses of the commonality of all people, even those separated by a vast distance. It is a valuable thing in our world, especially today. And this sure knowledge will be put to use and spread no matter where we go. And this I am certain of.
So, as much as this is an event for recollection and a, yes, reflection on our experiences at UWC, so is it also a time to say goodbye to one another. It won't necessarily be a permanent farewell. The first years will see each other again at the end of the summer, and the second years may return here to visit, or head off to university or into the world together. However, for those whom we will not see for a long while, the wish to be together will often, if not always, be present. But let us not be so lost in this wish that we dismiss the many more wonderful people we are yet to meet and know. Remember, after all, that distance is merely physical. It has no sway over true friendships, and the paradox remains that change is permanent.
So, beloved fellow students, Dr. Christoph Bosch, the LAC team, and our honored guests, we now call for an expression of gratitude. Let us give thanks
To those who have questioned us, our beliefs and our opinions.
to those who have challenged us to do that which we feared or never tried.
To those who saw past our reputation and cared enough to see us as we really were.
To those who took time off to listen, even when we didn't ask.
To those who encouraged us and pushed our doubts aside.
To those who visited us and planned for good company.
To those who showed us kindness even when we hurt them.
To those who hurt us.
To those whom we once knew, those we know now, and those we will come to know.
To those who have always shown us support, love, and never stopped believing in us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
To conclude our speech,
after this is over, I swear. We would like to conclude with a quote by Maya Angelou, with some UWC paraphrasing, about relationships, friendships, and love.
Love liberates. It doesn't bind. Love says, I love you if you're in China. I love you if you're in the Marshall Islands. I love you if you're in Senegal. I love you wherever you are.
I would like to be near you. I'd like to have your arms around me. And I'd like to hear your voice in my ear. But that will soon not be possible now. So,
go.
We are approaching the end.
And just as a few final words, we thank everyone for showing up.
Carbon wishes.
Who came from around the world, but also locally.
Yes.
And before we hear the last musical performance that will wrap this event up,
you just need to know that right after the final song, performed by somebody who's right now crying, right after the final musical performance, we would like to invite all second years to leave first without their parents, move down for a final year group photo, and then enjoy the rest of the afternoon during the buffet. We now invite the final performance.
We didn't decide to say anything, but we started the year with this song, Andres and I, and the band is helping us out today, and we thought it would be nice to end the 2 years with High Hopes by Coraline. So if a few of us choke up, please sing along.
Seems to me like I'm just scared of never feeling it again.
genau machen, was man will. Das geht dann.
Draußen steht das Essen schon. Ist alles draußen. Wir können doch außen.
Ja, können wir aufmachen. Wir können da oben, wenn wir was ist, da oben rausgehen, Schatzi.
Ja, könnt ihr auch machen? Ja.
Achso, findest du uns dann, ja?
Sehr schön.
Are you still recording? You are still recording?
Not the speak part, it's like when we play, maybe we can
Is it so bright?